Just let it get caught up with us.
That is right there, buddy.
Yeah, man. Still, and we got time rolling. I can never tell. I feel like I'm at the Golden Globes. I'm always like, is this on? Is this on?
Don't you wrap me up?
Man, I was telling Josh, I did my nerd boy thing, sitting down and watching my award show, and I didn't even know it was on until about 30 minutes before. So I was like, oh, well, now I'm stuck.
I'm 100% with you, man. I was telling Jared, I got just curious about nominees, man. And I'm sitting there reading them like, hurdy-dur, and then immediately go in the living room, and it's like, the Golden Globes. I'm like, holy crap, all right, then.
Walk in, and I get played into string music like, yes,
That's
I'm
right.
here.
The Globes are tonight, and I am at the Globes. Fantastic.
Man, I was kind of, with the show starting, and everybody's kind of doing it on Zoom or whatever service they use. I thought, of all the years, to just go back to the old school. When the Academy Awards first started, you knew who was winning before the show. I don't think it was even televised back when they did it this way, but you knew who won before you went to the show. Of all the years to do it, maybe this would have been the West Day to just do a pre-recorded accepted speech, so we can, because you would think, well, they'll cut down on the runtime. Wrong.
It did not.
Wrong.
It did not.
They are still, even with all this stuff going on, you got to have Maya Rudolph and I'm forgetting buddy's name, Keaton Thompson, come up and do their sketch bullshit and all this filler stuff. There wasn't any musical performances or anything like that. So, but still, it's like, what is not making this runtime?
I never understood the producers of award shows freaking out so bad about runtime. It's like, there's a real easy way to cut that shit down if you will just, give out the fucking awards. It's like, this is all y'all. You schedule 6 hours worth of crap in a show that you want to go 2.5 hours. It's like, well, I think you might have messed up, man.
Sounds like some Vince McMahon bullshit,
dude.
But the first award of the night that they gave out went to Daniel Kaluuya. He's the dude from Black Panther, and he won for Judas and the Black Messiah.
Oh, cool! I didn't know it was the same guy. That's cool.
Yeah, and I was like, oh no, this is going to be a whole nother this, because he goes to do his acceptance speech, and you get this kind of technical difficulty thing come up, and I'm like, oh, dude, don't do him like that, because I thought one of the things that kind of caused that was not only do you have everybody there in their little Zoom chat, they got to play the music, the score from the movie, and I think that kind of threw everybody off. And he was kind of like, "Wait, do I start now? What do I do?"
Y'all still playing? Okay.
Luckily, they got it fixed, because they went back to I want to say it was Laura Dern was giving out the award, and she did one of those kind of like, we accept on his behalf. We're sorry. Apologize for the technical difficulty. And he popped back up like, wait, you ain't taking this from me. So luckily he got to do his speech.
Good, man.
So I was kind of nervous. Like, oh man, this is going to be a whole night of this. But that was the only hiccup that I noticed. There were a few little freezes here and there, but nothing of anything that really. Yeah,
man.
And but that's just what kept going through my mind. It's like, of all the years when you could have a very good reason to just do a pre-record, and some of the stuff was pre-recorded, but some of it always is for the regular show, of having guys knowing who's won and just doing a acceptance speech. Of all the years, this would be, everybody be like, all right,
cool, we can handle that.
We give you the pass. We give you the pass. And then they didn't take that, opportunity. So it's like, well, fine. I'll just watch it anyway.
Fine. Forget it. I keep eating that dark chocolate. I'm gonna get like a big piece of it here in a second and swish it all up and act like I'm Randy Orton.
Yeah. Kamala got him.
Dang old Kimala. Excuse
me. Speaking of awards and what was going down tonight, that was the other big one. And Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman won for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
I figured he would. When I saw he was nominated, I figured. I haven't seen that movie yet. It's on my watch list. I just hadn't watched it yet. I'm looking forward to it.
It was one of those awards. At first, when you first hear the nominees, you kind of do the eye roll of like, it's no question who's going to win. But then his wife gives the acceptance speech and has everybody in tears. That it made me feel bad for even kind of having that thought go across my mind for a second. I was like,
because I'm
a dick.
People are always going to try and guilt you over shit like that. I'm sorry. Heath Ledger got a trophy because he fucking died. I don't give a good goddamn how good you thought he was as Joker. He got the trophy because he died. And Michelle is famous because he died. And Chadwick Boseman got a trophy because he died. It sucks. Chadwick Boseman was a hell of an actor. Wish we could have given him one while he was still here, but since you didn't, cool. Have that. Have that. Like I said, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't even know. I'd imagine he did pretty dang good because, again, Chadwick Boseman was good in everything I saw him, man. I thought, as much as I love James Brown, that movie didn't do it for me, but boy, he was fantastic. He was absolutely fantastic. And what was the other one that I was just like, shucks, I can't remember what it was now, man. It's another one he did where he had like, I think it was 3 or 4 in a row, like high profile ones where he was just like massive African-American icon after icon.
In a row, it was James Brown, frickin' Jackie Robinson, and Thurgood Marshall. Back to back, I want to say.
Yeah, just
right. At least it felt like it.
Yeah, it seemed like, as far as the stuff that that got attention anyway. I mean, I'm with you. It felt like they were just all together, like, man, knock it out. Jackie Robinson, by the way, it always bummed me out that wasn't a trilogy, because I thought it would have been really cool to do a movie called 42, do a movie called 39 about Roy Campanella, and then do a movie called 34 about Fernando Valenzuela. And if you just want to talk about sport as people say melting pot all the time, but I'm going to. I mean, it's awesome because Jackie Robinson, that's the guy that we talked about it before, man. It's one of my favorite things that's ever happened in baseball. Remember when Ichiro started wearing the high socks? He started hiking his pants up and doing old school. Yeah. It turns out the reason he did that was one of their road trips to Kansas City. He went to the Hall of Fame. He went to the Negro League Hall of Fame. And according to his version of the story, I mean, he loved the place because it's baseball and how cool is it to learn more baseball history. But he said he just was, it seems to me what he was saying was that he really had a real epiphany when he was there, that he's like, I'm not black, I'm never going to be, but if these guys hadn't opened the door, I probably wouldn't be here either. And so that was his little tribute to every professional baseball player that didn't make MLB. That's why he started wearing his socks like that. I'm like, God, that's an awesome story, man. Yeah. Excuse me. I know we've talked about it before, man. Kansas City Royals is one of the coolest. So there are so many team names in American sports that have really, really cool meanings. Kansas City Royals being them, because you had the Kansas City Monarchs and the Kansas City Blues. So Monarch, Royal being a shade of blue. That's why they called the major league team the Royals. I'm like, that's sweet. That is such a cool, and especially Kansas City being like ground zero for black professional baseball in the 20s and 30s. That's cool. That's just an awesome thing for them to have that tribute. But I got way sidetracked. But anyway, anytime I put Ichiro over and all that kind of stuff, it's awesome. That's a place I really want to go to. I've never been to the Hall of Fame. Never been to either Hall of Fame.
I've wanted to make that trip. Probably now, I'd probably rather go to Kansas City than Cooperstown, because that's everything I've heard about that trip is kind of like, that's all there is.
Yeah, it's tricky to get out. Not tricky to get out there. It's just okay, and it is literally all there is. Yeah, it's all there is. And I don't know, man. It's probably not the same at all, but for the Major League Hall of Fame, man, I can throw in Burnsy's movie, man. It's good.
Yeah.
10th inning, all 10 parts of it are quite good. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'd love to go to Kansas City for a game anyway. And man, that Hall of Fame would be sweet. I'm with you. I'd
And
love to do that.
I guess my deal with watching the movie 42 was, speaking of award shows, it's one of those ones that you just watch and you just can just see Harrison Ford showing up in every scene. He's like, I'm gonna win an award for this. They're finally gonna give me one. And I'm just like, come get the hell on, man.
You're not, brother. It's not going to happen. You
and
have to let it go.
that's the, you know, a lot. There's so many guys that sometimes the worst thing they can do is win an award, because it feels like when Tom Hanks went back to back, there for a minute at least, it felt like every choice was, well, I'm going to win it. I got to win another one. I got to. Maybe that's just me, you know. But it felt that way for me for a hot minute. And he's the one that always comes to mind first. But there are definitely others that it just feels like either they've never won one and they're trying, and everything they pick is like, well, I've got to get one.
Yeah.
And then they finally get one. Oh, well, I've got to get another one. It's like, and just some of the movie choices that you see some guys make after winning one and never winning one. It's like, Jesus, get over it.
Yeah. I think the example I always think of that's the worst is Costner. Because, oh my God,
Oh
after
yeah.
Dances with Wolves, everything he did for the next 15 years was
Mm-hmm.
trying to get another one.
Yeah.
But to be fair to Kevin Costner, his recent choices and decisions have been
Mm-hmm.
awesome. He's really Kevin Costner reminds me a bit of Diane Keaton in that regard, and that
Mm-hmm.
people have always sung the praises to high heaven of Diane Keaton. I thought her early stuff, and yes, I mean The Godfather, I thought she was god awful. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
awful. I understand that she was the producer's favorite, but dude. However, her stuff as a grown person, her stuff as an
Yeah.
adult, man, she's awesome. She's done some
Yeah.
really good stuff as her career's progressed, and I'm like, well, there you go then. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Costner's
Yeah.
kind of the same way, I think, because just been a couple of things here lately that, man,
Mm-hmm.
as Kevin approaches or is in his 60s or whatever, man, it's gotten quite discerning, and it's like, all right, brother, go on. That's cool.
Yeah. And he's definitely always been one of those guys that when somebody comes, you name your favorite actor, never comes to the top of my mind. But when you talk about some of the movies and stories he's been in, it's like he's got some good stuff out there.
There's some
He's
good
definitely
stuff,
got some
man.
good stuff.
And he's um Field of Dreams is great. I love that one. And
Mm-hmm.
he did that movie. Crap, I want to say it was The Perfect Game. It's the one where he's pitching for the
Yeah.
Tigers, and
Yeah.
it's like that was a cool idea, and the execution was neat. John C. Riley was great in
Was the
that, and
He was this catcher.
yeah, yeah, John C. Riley was calling the game. That was a cool one.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Um, I can't even think now of what it was I was trying to come up with. And for Diane Keaton either, which really stinks because seriously, there's been probably half a dozen of movies that she's done relatively recently. Like, man, go on you. She's
Man,
good. They're good choices, but she's real good in them too.
Diane Keaton is in this movie that I don't know if it would be fair to call it cult status, but the people that love this movie really love it, and I just don't think there's enough people out there that love this movie. So, for lack of a better term, cult movie. But it's a movie called The Family Stone that
Oh yeah,
I just absolutely loved, and I don't know why. It's 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 one of those kind of movies. It kind of gets lumped in with some of the Christmas movies, but it's not really Christmas. It's I think there is some Christmas scenes, and that's why everybody's coming home. But it ain't Christmas movie. Not I don't believe that every movie being set around Christmas qualifies. You can watch that movie anytime. Is what I'm trying to say, and it's loaded down with there's Derm, I get Dermot Mulroney and the other guy mixed up, but I'm pretty sure it's Dermot Mulroney, Claire Danes, one of the Luke Wilson, I think, is
yeah.
the Wilson brother in it. Uh, freaking coach, Craig T. Nelson.
Coach T. Nelson.
Yeah, freaking Rachel McAdams. So it's loaded down with a freaking not Sarah Michelle Gellar, the girl from Sex and the City, it's Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah.
So it's just it's one of those, and Diane Keaton. When it comes to romantic comedies, I guess Diane Keaton is if that's a fair bet. You can know that it's going to be something worthwhile checking it out. And I just always like that movie a ton.
When I talk about Diane Keaton making really good choices later in her career, or as her career keeps going, and it's not just that she makes good choices, but she contributes to them. The very next thing I said is, I can't think of any examples. That is the perfect example. That's an awesome choice, man. That is exactly the kind of movie we're talking about and the kind of performance. That's perfect. I'm glad you said that because I wouldn't have thought of it. But as soon as you say it, it's like, dude, yes, that's it. That's it.
Even both Father of the Bride movies.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I don't think she gets. I think of Steve Martin and his daughter in those movies, but she was there. She showed up.
It's holding it up, man. There's always
definitely more so in the second one.
Yeah, and in a lot of movies, man, there's always somebody. We've talked about the Unsung Hero Award, and every now and again they'll get a nomination. Like the Unsung Hero Award, I think is, and not really the case here. It's just that the strength of Diane Keaton's character in the Father of the Bride movies is you have to get as much as you can, but less is more. You know, there's not. It's not you don't have anything to do. It's just you're not gonna. It's not like big dynamic flowery lines. It's like this is what you say, this is what you do, and she does a real good job of like landing it. The ones I always think of though with the Unsung Hero Award, my number one. I'm still mad about it, but it switched from the Golden Globes to the Oscars. In my opinion, it wasn't a snub. She got nominated. I just wish she had won. Was Chloe Sevigny for Boys Don't Cry. People have absolutely no idea how unbelievably good she was in that, and I'll tell you why. This is how come I know how good she was. We are from the same town, and our town now is what it is. In 1999, attitudes, particularly about same-sex couples in movies, were not what they are now. And it's different, to be totally blunt. It's different when it's girls, but when one of them dresses up like a boy, well, that's different. That's not Skinamax. That's not how it works. So I'm not saying that. Golly, her name just popped right on my doggone head, man.
Hilary Swank.
Thank you. Yeah. Wow. I just totally. Brandon Teen is all I could remember because that's who she was in the movie. But Hilary Swank totally deserved her nomination and her win. But growing up where we grew up, living where we lived, the people, I worked at a video store at the time, and not just the number of people that rented that movie, but the diversity of the people that rented that movie, and about the only thing they had in common with each other was that they all liked it. Was awesome. And I think that works because Chloe gives you the end, and that's an unbelievable task in supporting her. She just did such a good job that people wanted to love Brandon as much as she did. It's real good. It's a hard movie to watch, but she did such good work there. And I really, and again, she got nominated. So I don't mean that it was like for nothing, but God, I wish she'd won. I'm still mad for you, Chloe. I think you should have won.
Yeah. So, but that, one of the things we were talking about, one of the things that makes the Golden Globes so confusing to me is not only do they add it's movies and TV, but then amongst the movies it's comedy and musical and drama. Then in TV it's comedy, musical, and drama. So after a while it just feels like is everything nominated?
Yeah, it's your dude for real.
Another one that was kind of a big one for me is now that it's finally over, I can watch Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
And Catherine O'Hara won Best Actress, musical or comedy, for Schitt's Creek, and I was like, man, I think that's been a long time coming for her.
I couldn't agree more. I don't know anything about Schitt's Creek except the name of it and that it's very well thought of and has always gotten nominated for stuff. I've just never seen any of it, but I'm with you. I like her so much that's
Yeah.
fantastic. That's awesome.
Yeah. The other it has nothing to do with the actual movies or anything being nominated. I thought it was kind of fun just seeing uh, a lot of people just got dressed up like they were going to the show, and then you had people just kind of looking at me like, "Well, I'm not going to win. I'm not going to win anyway." And
Golden
then
Globes, baby.
freaking,
You get what you get.
I mean, maybe it's just me not being able to recognize a fun gown, but it looked like flipping uh, Jodie Foster and her wife were in their pajamas. That it may have been some fine designer that I've never heard of,
Man.
and then they looked like they were just kind of chilling, and she ends up winning. She's got, oh crap, just sitting there on the couch with the pajamas and the dog. Like, I really wasn't expecting to do this. And then of all, Jason Sudeikis is there, like straight up, like hoodie and everything, just kind of like. And then he wins, and he's like, I got it.
Ah, crap, guys.
I was really kind of hoping you wouldn't even put me on.
I like the idea of celebrities just going full on. This is COVID. This is what I wear at home. I love it. I think that's real cool, man. I've talked about that before, though, man. I know we've discussed that. I think this is, you see dumb things online all the time that it's like, here's the 11 things girls do that guys love that girls don't know guys love. And they'd always talk about, like, the messy bun and pajamas and stuff like that. And they are not wrong. The messy bun and pajamas is a fantastic look for any woman, whether you're romantically into them or y'all just tight. Because if you're hanging out in the post-makeup messy bun pajama part of the day, y'all tight.
Yeah.
Y'all are people that love each other, whether it's romantically or not. Y'all are people that love each other, and that's the thing. It's weird because the articles don't ever get there. They always try to make it sound like, oh man, not side ponytail, but oh man, just pajamas, Claudia, so hot, and it's like it's really not. That's not what we like about it. What we like about it is anybody that's comfortable enough to just be who the hell they are. How can that not make you feel wonderful? That's an awesome thing. So I would love to see an award show where everyone's just hanging out, like you said, man, feed the dog, and that'd be cool.
And that's speaking of Schitt's Creek. That's the other cool thing about Eugene and Dan Levy can't look bad in anything. Anything you put them in, they're going to be like dapper as hell. The hair is just going to be so that they couldn't dress down if they tried. So why try?
Eugene Levy, you're right. He is just one of those cats that can pull it off. I don't know. I can't explain it, but it's like, yeah, go on, you. That's cool.
I'm a dapper fella.
Yeah, for real. God,
that's the best way I can describe it. Good brother.
we're discussing every time we get discussing actors. I know this happens for me. I assume it happens for a lot of people. That something, and it might be multiple somethings, but anytime you hear somebody's name, something will pop in your head. For example, you talk about Catherine O'Hara winning an award, and I'm so glad she won an award, or she won an award, but unfortunately, in my head, my mental image of her like walking to the podium is the end of Best in Show. I still can't believe that she was able to do that.
I don't know, there's something wrong with that guy's feet.
But with Eugene Levy, I know we talked about it on here before, but man, as much as I love that guy, and he has made me laugh, like genuinely, like belly laugh, pain-inducing laughter. The first thing that I always think of with that guy, man, is that freaking scene at the end of Waiting for Guffman, where he's out and doing the shows, and hey, man, I'm a performer, and la-di-da, and you get that real subtle track down from his face to his left hand. And his wedding ring's not there anymore. Nobody says anything about it. They just show you so you know. And it's like,
that's all you need to see.
That is such a crushing scene, especially when you juxtapose it with that shot of him on stage and his giddy, supportive, wonderful wife who is so proud of him and so happy for him. And I think that's the last time we see her in the movie. And the next scene that's any reference to her at all is that he's chucked his marriage. And oh, it's so sad. That is such a fantastically, wonderfully sad scene that is totally understated. And it's so much worse because they don't talk about it.
Yeah, yeah. So, and Catherine O'Hara, she may have won several awards for that show over the course of its run, but it seems like I would have heard about it if she had. I don't think she has. But that's how I watch shows, is I let them get done, and then I can just go back and check them out. So that's definitely high on my list, and it's running like a mug on several channels, but I still haven't set it up to record it. But I'm pretty if it's not on Netflix, it's on Hulu or one of the others. So I'll get it watched. But that's the next one on my list to get seen.
Yeah, I can dig it, man. I've been plowing my way through a couple of things, actually. I've been going back and forth because, pardon me, you know how it is with Criterion stuff. I love Criterion stuff because for me, it feels like, especially if you want to do the commentary tracks and all the bonuses, man, it's like taking a university course on one movie. I love it. That's my favorite thing about their stuff. And I've been doing Day for Night, which I for some reason that has been on my shelf for a long time, and I just have never gotten around to it. And I'm like, why have you not watched that? You got to watch that. There's a list. Roger Ebert, my main man. I've been watching. God, I have been watching so many old school clips of Siskel and Ebert. It's been out of control. That's been my YouTube stalwart here lately. It's so good. And but he's got a list of what he picked as the 25 essential French movies. And I'm obsessed with France. I'm obsessed with movies. I'm obsessed with French movies. So I'm like, yeah, watch as many of these as you can. Turns out I'd already seen 6 of them, which 6 of 25 is hardly impressive. But to be fair, I'm going to be fair to myself. 6 is not actually 6 because 25 isn't actually 25. The 25 is actually 27 because his 25th spot is the Three Colors trilogy by Kieslowski, which is 3 movies. So technically it's 24 plus 3. So technically my 6 is 5 plus 3, so I've seen 8 of them. But Day for Night is on the list, and I'm like, you've got to watch that. And it's excellent. It is so cool. It's Francois Truffaut making a movie about making movies, and I love stuff like that. I like movies about making plays. I like books about making movies. I like movies about writing books. I love that kind of stuff. And for it being a movie about making movies, it is so cool. I've enjoyed the crap out of it, man. So I'm like, yep, I definitely understand why this one made the list. I love it. Still haven't finished it. I'm about 13 minutes away from finishing it, but there's several things I want to go back and watch again, and it's like, man, this is so cool. It's so cool, and it's very it seems to me it's not like I mean, you definitely get the tedium of movie making. You definitely get like that. There's just one scene right at the beginning. The very opening scene is just this scene playing out. It's this little kid playing in the park and this lady pushing a baby stroller, and here's your camera, and you're just seeing all this stuff happen. Your camera starts moving, and it's all good, and it's just floating around, showing all these different people doing all these different things. And a guy comes out from the subway, comes up from the underground, and he just goes walking. Cameras following him walking, and he comes across this other guy who slaps him in the face. So, okay, all right, but as soon as he smacks him in the face, you cut to a close-up of the director saying cut, and then you pull back and they redo the entire thing. And it's just like, but you hear the direction over the top of it now. So, okay, cool. We're watching them make a movie. It's all good. And eventually your camera pulls back from the camera that's shooting the scene. Because again, it's a big tracking shot. So you've got the dolly and you've got the guys up on it. Camera's pulling back. And eventually it slides just ever so slightly to the left. And what happens is when it gets to the left, you've got your building right here. And with the camera shot, it pulls just enough to where you see all the 2x4s and junk behind it, where it's just a facing, it's just a front. And I'm like, I love that's the very beginning of the movie. I'm like, boy, I'm gonna love this. But it's not. I think that it'd be very easy to complain about how tedious it is to make movies and how hard it is to deal with temperamental actors and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. It's very much a Valentine. So much of it is very sweetly done and very lovingly. It's just like, it's not like, man, I got the best job in the whole wide world, but it's like, it's basically a film director saying like, this is the best. What's the word I'm looking for, man? Genre is not the word I'm looking for, but I'm sorry, the word's escaping me right now. But I'm loving it. It's because it's very joyful and some of it's very funny. Excuse me, but I'm just in hog heaven watching that junk because I love Criterion. And I'm getting closer. Von Kar Wai's getting closer. It'll be next month, man. Oh yes. Well, let me take that back. It'll be released next month. I'm not buying it till it's half off because that's the rule, man.
That's the best way to handle those. But that's always been kind of my feeling. As much as I like some of the movies about movies or documentaries about a movie, is when I tried to watch like something like Birdman, for example, it's just exhausting to watch.
Birdman, the first time I saw Birdman, I really liked it. Mainly because I just thought the soundtrack was incredible. I know that's a stupid thing to take away from that movie, but that was the first thing.
That's what gets you through it, is that drum score.
Dude, that was the first thing that just beat me over the head, was how cool the drums were, how cool the music was. And then one day, I think I told you, man, I just got this hankering, this crazy, like, go to Best Buy and buy a copy of Birdman. So I did. Went out to Best Buy, bought a copy of Birdman, and I came home and I watched it. And I think I watched it every day for the next 4 days. I love that movie so much. That's my, I'm a massive Family Stone. I'm a huge Emma Stone fan. I think she is great, and she's been in about 4 things that I absolutely love. That's my favorite one. I love that movie so much. But, and it's actually, remember when Age of Ultron came out, the Blu-ray had that red box.
Yeah.
Had the red plastic. Well, I stole the red box and I put Birdman in it, and it looks awesome. I'm telling everyone about my custom copy of Birdman because it looks awesome. Yeah. But I need to watch that one again too. But I had something else queued up. I'm doing that right now, and then I know we talked about it last show. I think it was the last show that I've got the date for WandaVision now. So I'm trying to make my schedule, my Hulu schedule, because there's lots of stuff I want to see. Primarily, my main thing is The Great, because I watched about 3 episodes of that, and it is so good. I love that show, so I got to get in there and finish that one up. And Parasite's on there, and I want to watch that too. I'm glad the Criterion's coming out, but I've never seen it. I'd like to watch it first. If I can see it before doing Criterion, that's the way to do it. Yeah. Man, there was something else on there, and I just can't think of what it is right now. But anyway, I'm trying to make that schedule and then put movies in there. But it's weird. I was talking to a friend of mine recently about the Criterion sale, and she and I always talk about the Scholastic Book Fair from when we were in school and how much fun that was and how awesome that was. And so I was talking with her and her husband, and I was explaining that the Criterion sale is my grown-up adult version of the Scholastic Book Fair, because the point we're making is that you looked so forward to the book fair because it was you saved your money, and that's when you could go and spend your money on the books that you wanted, and it was awesome. And I'm like, now you're an adult, you just drive to the store. I didn't say this, she said this, because she's talking about Danielle. Danielle is somebody that both of us know, and so me explaining the genius of Danielle Strickland, I don't have to. You know her, but she's just fantastic. She's the best. But explaining that, like, when you grow up, you lose that because you just drive to the store and buy it. And I'm like, totally, that's it. And I was like, you said it a moment ago, and I completely agree with you. That is the magic of the Criterion sale, is I absolutely positively will not buy them until then. And that's why, because you can, but if you don't, it's special. It's cool again. It's like that Target thing where you go and spend your money.
Make it a treat.
Dude, seriously, I'm with you, because God, if you don't, Jesus, I couldn't afford them if I didn't do the sale, and I would just buy way too many, way too often. But it's special, and I like it.
Yeah. The Scholastic Book Fair, much like Picture Day, I usually forgot until the day of. So I was always like, oh, crap, what am I going to do?
I always hated Picture Day because I just never noticed. I really
It was my way of having to have photos that I'm not going to want or need.
That's where I'm at. Like, get out of here, man. But the book fair,
I'll be in your book.
Yeah, fine. You put me in your book. Sell
I'll
more
be
copies.
Documented for history.
Go right ahead. I will deign to let you photograph me for your collage of students.
My big hauls from the Scholastic Book Fair was one year. There was I looked for anything with Hogan on it. I got one book. One year, I think it was a book that anything that had stickers in the back.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that went to the top of the list. So it was a Hogan WWF book with stickers in the back. So that was a big one. And then they got to the point where they had like the kind of like the grab bag of comic books, but it was baseball cards. And it had like some type of price guide and a whole stack of cards in the bottom. So that's usually the ones I went for.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah, I always loved the book fair, man. I remember going to the book fair in kindergarten. It's one of the earlier, it's not the earliest memory I have, but it's early. And I remember there was a picture of Bill Bradley. I'll never forget it because when I was a little kid, my favorite color was blue.
Nick's Bill Bradley or politician Bill Bradley?
Nick's Bill Bradley. Didn't know he was a politician at the time. And but that's the thing is blue has always been my favorite, or was my favorite color then. Orange was my second favorite color. Now orange is far and away my favorite. There's something about that Knicks uniform, man. I never forgot it. I'm like, oh, this is awesome, man. It's weird. I don't remember who. I'm sure Julius and Kareem and Magic and Larry were probably in there, but it was when I bought it would have been like 85 when I bought it. And don't get me wrong, Magic and Larry were gods in 85. I'm just saying that the book probably wasn't published
in
in 1980.
Still new.
Yeah, the book wasn't published in 85. The book might have been published in 78, 79, somewhere in there. So it might not have had everybody up to date. But it was cool. It was cool. I remember it.
Kick yeah, man.
Love basketball ever since, man. Even though the Hawks lost again tonight. It's heartbreaker. So I love them. John Collins went absolutely crazy. I think John Collins was shot windowing himself for Miami because if all the trade rumors keep popping up, man, it's like, well, I like South Beach. That's what he played like today. Like, hey, man, you guys want to sign me, don't you?
Yeah. I got my bags packed. Ready to go.
I don't blame him, man. South Beach is South Beach. And also Miami is one of those organizations I think would be good to place. Pat Riley, man. I mean, come on, Pat's always going to want to win, so that's just cool. I'm not trying to push John Collins out the door. It's just that I don't think the Hawks are going to make him the offer that he wants because we got to pay Trey. We have to, or at least that's the plan. I'm afraid that Trey's going to turn us down and go to Oklahoma City just because I know that's home, man. I mean, that'd be an absolute dream to him. Yeah. But I hope he likes Atlanta enough to stick around for a little bit.
Yeah. Give us a little bit more time.
Yeah, just give us one more contract, man. Just one more contract.
Yeah. But I think still looking at some of the movies and stuff that won tonight. My other one that it won it's the Hollywood Foreign Press, so technically American movie can win Best Foreign Language Film. But I still, and I've seen a lot of the trailers for it, but there's a movie of Minari that it's on my list of stuff to see. I don't know if it's going to be this year's Parasite, but it looks like a dang good one. The stuff that's I think it's pretty much of the stuff that I saw when I was like, okay, I'll file that one away.
Yeah, that's cool.
One to check out. A movie called Nomadland.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Best film.
Okay, that's drama. Good. That's good because I actually was looking at that earlier, and I'm like, that's one that's on Hulu, and I'm like, yeah, I gotta check that out because I like Francis. And on the subject, that's this year's Parasite because this one's a little bit more on the nose as far as like, I mean, it pretty much names Amazon, but it's like, but I'm looking forward to. I love Francis McDormand, so I'm cool with that. Let me ask you, did Sacha Baron Cohen win for Chicago 7?
He won Best Musical Comedy for Borat subsequent movie film.
Okay. I was hoping he'd win the other one because I didn't see Borat because I don't care. And as far as
Yeah.
Rudy Giuliani looked silly. Here's conspiracy theory hour for because I do this every show now. Apparently, Rudy Giuliani is paid. He is an actor. He is absolutely playing a role because I mean, if you needed to go so far as to have the shoe polish run down his face,
Mhm.
he's playing a character. The
Yeah.
guy is just such a whore for attention and for staying in the club that you've just literally got. He's a dancing bear. He'll do anything as long as someone gives him a check. He'll do anything. Rudy's an embarrassment. So I don't care about Borat. I don't care about Rudy yanking his pants down with a fucking 16-year-old because I'm pretty sure that's not new for Rudy. Whatever.
Mhm.
But I thought that Sacha Baron Cohen, I mentioned this to my friends, and I will tell you now. Sacha Baron Cohen, for me, has a lot of Robin Williams to him in the sense that I know that they are primarily known for their comedies. For me personally, their comedies really don't do it for me. I mean, I've seen
Mhm.
there's some funny stuff. They've each had some real funny stuff, but in general, the comedies don't do it for me.
Yeah.
Interviews are tricky because it's hard for them to turn the character off. Sasha's not nearly as bad as Robin. God, Robin Williams was a character all the time in
I
interviews.
couldn't enjoy his
Yeah,
interviews because
I'm
of
the
that.
same way because of that. I totally
Mhm.
agree. But when they decide to do drama, I love both of them. I'm super,
Yeah.
super down with both of them. And I was asking about Chicago 7 because it was very good and he was really good in it.
Uh,
So,
that was actually the category that Daniel Kaluuya won in the supporting actor
oh, excellent. Okay.
category.
All right,
So
cool,
I
man.
had to go back and double check. Yeah, but he was nominated, but didn't win.
That's all right. I'm glad he got nominated for that because he was real good, man. And again, he's playing Abby Hoffman. So it's like, most people, if you're interested in watching a movie about the Chicago Seven, you probably have a pretty good idea of what Abby Hoffman and his mannerisms and whatnot were like. And he did a real good. That was a good movie too, man.
Mhm.
Something interesting about that one, man, is that Aaron Sorkin always gets killed for the walk and talk, and it's like, well, all of his movies sound the same. They all look the same. It's all the West Wing, just set in a different place, and that was not true with Chicago Seven. He really got out there and directed. It was good. It was really good, man. The only
Mhm.
thing about it, in my opinion, is you got to do just a little bit of research into the actual trial because you will think that Frank Langella, as the judge, his name was Hoffman too, is just this ridiculous, over the top caricature. It's like, okay, Aaron, calm down.
Yeah.
He's the bad guy. We get it. But unfortunately, all that crap's true.
Yeah.
It's all true, and it's like, oh my god, man. So that's the point, is that when you find out that Aaron Sorkin was not laying on, because the whole
Mhm.
thing is, you could have him be real subtle and real laid back and real cool, right up to the oh, I just can't believe I forgot his dadgum name. Oh man, I'm a terrible freaking person. Bobby, I can't believe I forgot his last name. But
Cannavale?
nah, the character.
I'm sorry. I'm just guessing.
No, it's
I
okay. No,
shouldn't do that.
it's the character's name.
Mm.
What happens is, and this all really happened too. This is true shit. He was the guy. He was the it wasn't Fred Hampton, but it was the leader of the Black Panthers in Chicago. I can't believe I can't remember the characters' names. I've seen the movie multiple times now, but all this stuff really happened, man. Where they basically take him in the back room and beat the crap out of him, and he is in a courtroom. No kidding, bound and gagged
Bobby
in court.
Seale.
Bobby Seale. How could I forget that? But he's like bound and gagged in a courtroom. That really happened, and they put it in the movie. But it's like you could have had Frank Langella be real subtle and real calm until then, and then when you get to that scene, he's vile and we hate him. But having all the fireworks and the theatrics and the over the top from day one stuff, it's like, man, this is too much. And then you find out that's actually what happened. Like, dude, Sorkin,
Yep.
oh my lord, because it's like it's ridiculous. It's a great movie though. It's very, very good. And really all you gotta do is look at the cast and you're set because Sasha's good. Eddie Redmayne is from, I don't know what planet that guy's from, but Eddie Redmayne is incredible. Anyhow, I got way sidetracked, but that was good stuff. I missed a lot of the stuff that was nominated. I haven't seen yet, so I need to watch some stuff, man.
That was a big part of it when it comes to this year. I mean, there was so much stuff. It's like, I know it's been a rough year on the movie industry, but never even heard of some of this stuff. So, but that's nothing new for award shows. I mean, I expect there to be, some of the more popular stuff that there's years that it sneaks in. I'm kind of like, I don't know that one, but there was so many this year. I was like, man, that y'all made that one up.
Yeah, for real. That's not a real movie.
That ain't real.
It's fake creation.
that's some. No wonder it's Hollywood.
Man, speaking of Hollywood, I finally watched, and I'm still not caught up because there's a couple that are. Shoot, it seems like the Buster Scruggs, the one they did for Netflix with the Coen brothers. I haven't seen that one yet, but I finally watched Hail Caesar. It's on Netflix. I finally watched it, and I got to tell you, I sat the whole time waiting for Squint Against the Grandeur, and it's still. I about fell off the chair laughing at it. I'm so glad that you told me to keep an eye out because it is just the best. Squint Against the Grandeur. That shit cracked me up, man. So I was like, thank you for telling me because it was great.
Yeah, man,
Squint
it's worth
Against the Grandeur.
No, knowing it's coming.
Yeah.
It's still going to be one of those.
I was so happy when it happened.
But man, that's one of the ones that frickin' Josh Brolin is good as hell in that movie. And I know that used to be a surprise, but it's not anymore. But that one, of all his stuff, man, that might be one of my favorite performances he's ever done.
Brolin is a crushingly good actor. I'm with you. Like, between the Goonies, he was great in that. And we've talked about it before, man, that Oliver Stone's W is a very underrated movie. And it's because, I think it's because it wasn't what people wanted. People wanted a slam piece where Oliver just killed George W. Bush and he's the worst guy ever and he's vile and oh my God, fuck that guy. And that is not what Oliver Stone had to say about that guy. So I think that's what made people mad at that one. But it's excellent. That's a really good movie. And Brolin is crazy good in that. And then No Country for Old Men. I know, God knows when you watch No Country that, might as well, it's only one person, but it's like, no. It's like the only reason that Anton Chigurh works is because A, Woody Harrelson puts him over, and B, Brolin balances him out. It's good. So it's weird. That's one of the Coen movies that I've probably seen all the times I'm going to see it. I like it, but it's like it's not one I got to watch every hour.
Yeah, they're to me, even to this day. I mean, most of their movies, kind of every other one, is like one that I'm like, I don't need to see that one again.
Yeah, it's strange. It's like Blood Simple's cool. I've seen it. It's cool. Raising Arizona, I'd watch that once a month. I love that one. Oh, shoot. I was looking up stuff the other day, man. Miller's Crossing was much earlier in their career than I thought it was. I was thinking that I thought it was before Fargo, but I didn't realize it was that far before. It was like 5 years. I think it was 1990. Like, oh my Lord, okay. And that one I need to watch again. I love that movie anyway, but I need to watch it again.
It's talking about Josh Brolin and the stuff that he's done with them. He is worth watching True Grit for. Just when he shows up and he is terrifying, puts Thanos to shame.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting that I think that's interesting because of who your lead in True Grit is. Because that's the guy that can get villainous on you. And so it's fascinating when you hire him to be your lead that this is who we're casting as the villain. I don't know, it might not mean anything, but it just seems like having that gravitas on the set would inspire you to ratchet it up, and it did. He's a woo boy.
There's, and I think True Grit would be in one of those. Once you've seen it categories, but there's still a bunch of good stuff in it.
Oh,
Uh, Jeff Bridges and Matt Damon hanging out is awesome. Jeff Bridges versus Barry Pepper in one scene is really good, and then Josh Brolin's and Barry Pepper's outlaw crew, that he's tracking down,
yeah.
and Haley Atwell is the girl in it. So
Yep.
it's I think True Grit, people showed up thinking, oh, they're going to remake one of my favorite John Wayne movies, and they're like, no, we're staying more faithful to
Yeah.
the text, and
We're not going to
so
remake the movie. We're going to make it. We're going to
yeah,
do it.
yeah. So, but that just the Josh Brolin stuff that uh, just his Coen Brothers performances, it's kind of tough to pick, but Hell Caesar's my one.
You're right. He was fantastic in that, man.
Mhm.
So I
And
totally,
and for George Clooney's in it the whole time. That and you can't go wrong with him and the
you can't,
Coens.
you can't miss with George, man. George is just awesome. It's like if George is in a movie directed by either Coen brother or one that he's directing himself,
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
miss. It's like, this
yeah.
guy's the man, dude.
Heck yeah. One of his movies that I've heard nothing but good things about, and I've yet to see, and I've got to get it watched on Disney Plus. But I've heard that Tomorrowland
Mhm.
is supposed to be amazing.
I'm in the exact same spot in that I haven't seen it, but that's all I've heard is that it's like,
Hmm.
man, you gotta see that. Like, yeah, you're right, I do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's definitely one of the ones that, when it comes to the trend that they had of doing movies based on the rides and different areas of the park that came, and I was like, whatever. And then it came out. I was like, you really need to go watch that. I was like, okay, I'll get it seen.
I will then. Okay then. I hear you.
Mhm.
Yeah, see if I finished this. I think I did. Oh no, I got more chocolate. Hell yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
There we go, baby.
Yeah.
Love that stuff. It's the Ghirardelli 72.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
man.
yeah, there we go.
Cacao.
That's good
Cacao.
stuff right there, baby. It's so good. And I wish I could say that dark chocolate had helped me kick milk chocolate, but it didn't. I still love milk
No,
chocolate too. If
let's
I'm
not get
doing
crazy.
if I'm doing wine,
Hmm.
dark chocolate's where it's at, man.
Hmm.
And if
Let's not get silly.
I'm doing a Randy Orton impression, dark chocolate's where it's at.
Yeah. I got black stuff coming out of my mouth. What am
Oh
I gonna do?
man, Papa John goes out to get me.
Oh no. That that was one of my favorite. What in the world are these guys smoking sketches from Kids in the Hall back in the day? Where I can't remember if it was Dave Foley or Bruce McCullough, but it was one of the two. And it's this pompous kind of boardroom CEO guy. Just he's carrying on this meeting, and just this black stuff starts pouring out of my mouth. And these people won't listen because I got black stuff, and that is the scene. And you're like,
That's the skit.
what in the world are these guys on? But it's hard to explain that, and people be like, yeah, but that's funny. But it's hilarious.
Dude, it's weird. Every now and again, I got this suggestion for a video of old Norm Macdonald clips today,
Oh,
and there was a
yes.
comment that I really liked, and they made a good point. And it was like Norm Macdonald's the only guy ever that can take a joke that's not funny and then just trench it and go over and over and over it until it just goes way past funny. And for some reason, it is hilarious. It's like, it's true, man. It's totally
Yeah.
true. But I will say, this is stupid, but for half the comments of people just like, yeah, man, this is when like stand up was allowed to be funny. People weren't so sensitive. It's like people still make these jokes. They're just ripping this guy off now. But
Mhm.
there were a couple that I thought were really good. I will say though, forgive me for being a jerk, but when he was on with Conan O'Brien, and Courtney Thorne Smith is on. She's promoting her movie with Carrot Top.
BORED.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's the thing I'm going to be a jerk about. Because I thought Box Office Poison was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
But what in the world was Conan O'Brien thinking with try something with that, you freak? The word bored is in the title. How in the world did you not know that? And to be fair, I'm a jerk. I love Norm Macdonald. But here's how I would have handled that joke.
Mm-hmm.
If Conan O'Brien, who's trying to make the pretty blonde girl smile at him, comes at me with do something with that, you freak, I literally would have looked over and I would have said, board's in the title, Harvard. That's exactly what I would have said. And I mean, I like Norm's joke, but I like mine better because I'm a jerk. But it's like, board is in the title. It's right there. But I will say, this was my favorite. Norm, who obviously got a lot of traction out of the OJ trial because everybody did at the time, and he had really good stuff. But I thought he had the single best joke about the OJ verdict that I've ever heard. And they pop up on Weekend Update. This is the cute thing about this, too. This is on Lorne Michaels' dime. So hilarious. Because Lorne, for all of his posturing of being an outsider and a rebel, ask Sinead O'Connor if he really likes doing controversial subjects. Because she can tell you. There's a Netflix documentary that one day will come out. It'll probably be after she dies. But one day someone's going to make that documentary and it's going to be well worth watching. And Lorne Michaels is going to look like the piece of shit that he is in that documentary. Because, we're going to pay the Beatles to reunite. It's going to happen on my show. We're going to have an amazing live moment. And you got one and you shit your pants. Because you're a fucking phony. Anyhow, I obviously don't like Lorne Michaels. But anyhow, this was great. It's just, pops up on Weekend Update and you got that shot of OJ with that smug-ass look on his face. Just that thing. And Norm's joke is, well, it's official. It's finally happened. Murder is legal in Los Angeles County. And I'm like, now that's a good joke. That is a good joke for the OJ trial. Like, oh man, he killed that one. Yep. That was great. But yeah, I thought Box Office Poison was the best. I absolutely love that. We don't have a title yet. It's a working title. I got a title for you. Box Office Poison. So good, man.
Man. Heck yeah, man. That's what's up.
Yeah, I think that's everything. It's always good to close it out with Norm Macdonald. You can't go wrong.
Heck yeah, man. I'll see y'all.
Dude, y'all take it easy, man. Thank you, brother. Have a good one, man.
You too. Bye.